Good morning, students. This is my first video. I tried to make the concept simple. Hope you will enjoy. Okay, we'll start with the concept of function of the cell membrane. As we already discussed about the function of the cell membrane, today we'll continue it. So, we see that transportation is the one of the it is very important function for the cell membrane transportation process, as the cell membrane is the outer protective layer for almost all the cell. Actually, for all the cell membrane is the outer protective layer. But in case of plant cell, you see that another cell layer is there, which is known as cell wall. But other than all the cell have cell membrane, and cell membrane in nature it is semi permeable, so it is selectively permeable for some components, so that as a outer membrane, as a protective layer, another function of cell membrane is transportation. So when we will see the transportation process, we can see that transportation can occur passively or transportation can occur actively in the cell membrane. Listen very carefully. Here in the picture you can easily see that transportation can occur passively and transportation can occur actively also. Okay. Now what is the difference between active transport and passive transport? As I already mentioned it, that for passive transportation no need of ATP is there. That means energy is not needed. Energy is not needed by the cell. So the process will occur passively. For this, no energy is required. And for active transportation, obviously energy is required. Now, there must be a question that why for the passive transportation energy is not required, and why for the active transportation energy is required. For the passive transportation, actually passive transportation occur along that concentration gradient. That means it always occur from the high concentration region to low concentration region. That's why no energy is required. The molecules can move from high concentration to low concentration. But in case of active transportation, we mainly see that the transportation occur against the concentration gradient or against the transportation gradient. That means in most of the cases, active transportation occur from the lower concentration region to higher concentration region. So it's a very difficult process. So for this process, energy is required. Do you get my point? So you need to remember that for the passive transportation energy is not required, and for the active transportation energy is required. Passive transportation occur within the transportation gradient or the concentration gradient, and active transportation occur against the concentration gradient. That means from the lower concentration region to higher concentration region. Now, passive transportation can occur by following three processes. Here you can see what are the three processes. The processes are diffusion, the processes are osmosis, and the processes are facilitated diffusion. Diffusion, osmosis, and facilitated diffusion. So, we already discussed about the process of diffusion in the last class. Now we need to discuss about the another process of passive transportation, which is also very important for the cell, which is known as osmosis. Clear? And then we will discuss about another process which is known as facilitated diffusion. So the diffusion, osmosis, and the facilitated diffusion, all the process are include within the passive transportation. That means for this process, for this transportation process, energy is not required at all, or you can say ATP is not required at all. So you need to remember this, that for the passive transportation, three modes are there: diffusion, osmosis and facilitated diffusion, and for this no such requirement of energy is there. Now we'll see what is osmosis, what are the significance of osmosis, and obviously the example of osmosis, how osmosis process occur. Okay. Okay. So here you can see osmosis. What is osmosis? Osmosis is a process by which molecule of solvent, here you need to remember, molecule of solvent, that means only solvent molecule, particularly you can say water molecule, because in most of the cases in in biology, the solvent is water. The solvent can be anything, but mainly it is water. Osmosis is a process by which the molecule of solvent, or you can say solvent molecule, pass from a solution of low concentration to a solution of high concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So for the process of osmosis, what you need to remember, listen very carefully, that osmosis occur, and osmosis matlab it is also one kind of diffusion, you know, where the solvent molecule pass from the region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration, and also you need to remember that it is occurred through a semi-permeable membrane. You always need to remember. In diffusion process, we discussed that diffusion is a process by which a molecule from the lower concentration can pass in the region of higher concentration. So osmosis is also one kind of diffusion. But here, as we know that the cell membrane is semi-permeable or selectively permeable, so through cell membrane, water only can enter into the process by the process of osmosis. Okay, so osmosis is the process by which water can enter through the cell membrane, as cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane and it allow the movement of water molecules by this process, which is known as osmosis. So osmosis, you need to remember that osmosis is another kind of diffusion where water molecule cross the cell membrane from the lower concentration region to higher concentration region. Okay, as it is through the semi-permeable, and we know that cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. So this is about the osmosis. Okay, now osmosis okay, here you can say osmosis is a passive process and happen without any expenditure of energy. As I already mentioned that osmosis is included within the passive transportation process. So obviously for the osmosis process no energy will require. It involves the movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration until the concentration became equal on either side of the membrane. So it is the nature of any molecule that whenever it will not get the equilibrium, that means equal concentration on either side of the membrane, that up to that time the osmosis will carry on. Any solvent can undergo the process of osmosis, including gases and superficial liquids. Okay, it is not that osmosis is not applicable only for the liquid, it is also applicable for the gases. Okay, So I think now the osmosis process is clear for you. Now you need to know about the different type of osmotic solution. As you can see in the screen, here different type of osmotic solutions are there. How many types of osmotic solutions are there? Isotonic solution, hypertonic solution, and hypotonic solution. Here you need to listen very carefully. What is this? Isotonic solution, hypertonic solution, and hypotonic solution. Suppose whenever we are taking a cell is living, and whenever we are putting the cell in a solution, okay, any solution. Suppose we are putting the cell in a solution whose concentration of solute is same as the concentration of solute of the cell inside the cell. Okay, listen very carefully. That whenever we are putting the cell in a solution whose solute concentration, that means the solute concentration of the solution surrounding the cell is same as the solute concentration of the solution inside the cell. That means inside the concentration of cell inside and the concentration of the solution outside is same, then it is known as isotonic solution. Okay, then an isotonic solution is one that has the same concentration of solute both inside and outside the cell. Now if we put the cell in such a solution whose solute concentration is whose solute concentration is more than the outside environment, that means the solute concentration is high inside the cell and solute concentration is low outside the cell, then the as the solute concentration is low outside the cell, that means the solvent concentration, or you can say the concentration of water is high in outside the cell, and the concentration of water is less in inside the cell, and that time the cell will the water will enter into the cell, as the water concentration high outside the cell, and that time water enter into the cell. Okay, and this type of and the cell became swollen, and this type of solution where higher solute concentration inside the cell is known as hypotonic solution. So you need to remember that in hypotonic solution, okay, you need to remember that in hypotonic solution means the solution whose solute concentration is less and the solvent concentration is high. Suppose I am putting a cell in such a solution whose solute concentration is low and solvent concentration is high, then we can see tell that we put the cell in a hypotonic solution. And now coming to the next solution, which is hypertonic, that means you can easily understand, if we put the cell in such a solution whose solute concentration is low, which solute concentration is high, so the water concentration or the solvent concentration is low, and inside the cell the solute concentration is high, and solute concentration is low and the solvent concentration is high, then solvent will release out from the cell into the surrounding environment, and this solution is known as hypertonic solution. So you need to remember, listen very carefully. In isotonic solution, the concentration of solute both inside the cell and outside the cell is same. In hypertonic solution, the solute concentration outside and this outside the concentration of solute is, in a hypertonic solution the concentration of solute is high in outside the membrane and concentration of solute is less in inside the cell. That's why solvent from inside the cell release out into the outside membrane. And in hypotonic solution, the solute concentration is less in the outside membrane and the solvent concentration is high in the outside, and the solute concentration is more inside the cell and the solvent concentration is high low inside the cell. That's why the solvent from the outside enter into the inside, which is known as hypotonic solution. We can do this experiment with the help of this diagram. You can see, as we know that RBC or red blood cells is a living cell of our body. If we can take our blood, drop of blood, and we can put it in different type of solution, that means in hypertonic solution or isotonic solution or hypotonic solution. As you already know that what is isotonic solution, that means you need to remember that inside the RBC is a cell. Inside the RBC there is a definite concentration of solvent as well as solute. And outside the cell, an isotonic solution, that means whose concentration is same as the concentration of solute and solvent inside the RBC. Here the middle picture, you can say, whenever we are putting the cell RBC in isotonic solution, then there is no such in isotonic solution. What happened? There is no difference between the concentration gradient because this is same. That's why there is no such change in the structure of the cell, because water is not releasing out and water is not releasing in. Or if the water is releasing, if the water is entering, then same amount of water also go out from the cell. That's why it is always maintain the equilibrium and there is no change in the cell shape. But whenever we are putting the blood cells, you see the first diagram where the cells plasmolized or squeezed. Okay, what happened actually? We put the blood cells, we put the RBCs in the hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution matlab whose water concentration is less and solute concentration is high. Okay, hypertonic solution, we are putting the blood cell in hypertonic solution, means whose solute concentration is high and solvent concentration is very low. And that's why what happened, compared to this, in the cell, in the inside environment of the cell, the solvent concentration became high and the solute concentration became low. And as we know that osmosis is transportation of solvent molecule from the high concentration region to low concentration region, so obviously the blood from the blood cell, the solvent will release out into the surrounding environment, and whenever the solvent will release out from the cell squeezed. So that we can easily understand that whenever we putting the cell in a hypertonic solution, then what happened? The cell became squeezed or cell became plasmolized. So if we put a cell into hypertonic solution, then the solvent molecule from the inside the cell released out into the outside cell, because hypertonic solution matlab less solvent concentration and high solute concentration outside the environment, in outside environment. And in inside environment, the concentration of solvent is high and concentration of solute is low. That's why the water or the solvent molecule released out from the cell. As the solvent molecule released out from the RBC became squeezed, RBC became plasmolized. Okay, And coming to the hypotonic solution, the last diagram you can see what happened. We are putting the RBC in a hypotonic solution. Hypotonic solution matlab whose solute concentration is very low and the solvent concentration is very high at outside environment, and whose solute concentration is very high and solvent concentration is very low inside the cell. Then what will happen? We know due to the osmosis process, the solvent molecule from higher concentration region will transport to the concentration of lower region. So obviously the solvent molecule from the outside environment will enter into the cell through the semi-permeable membrane or through the cell membrane, and so the solvent concentration will increase in the cell and the cell became turgid, cell became swollen up. Okay, so this process is known as, and this solution is known as hypotonic solution. So you need to remember that whenever we will put any cell into the isotonic solution, then there will be no structural change. But whenever we put the cell in a hypertonic solution, then the cell becomes squeezed or plasmolized. And if we put the cell in hypotonic solution, then the cell became turgid or swollen up. You need to remember. Hypertonic solution matlab whose solute concentration is high and solvent concentration is low. Isotonic matlab whose inside and outside environment the solute solvent concentration is same. And hypotonic solution matlab whose solvent concentration is high but solute concentration is low in outside environment. I hope your concept is now clear about the hypertonic, isotonic and hypotonic solution. This experiment is there in your NCERT book also. So if you read it once, your concept will be more clear. Okay. Now coming to the significance of osmosis. We are talking about the osmosis. Then what are the importance? What are the need of the osmosis process? Osmosis influence the transport of nutrients and the release of metabolic waste products. Okay. Through the osmosis process, with the osmosis process or by the osmosis process, different nutrients which are needed for the cell can enter into the cell and the waste product. Not think only about the multicellular organism. You can think about the unicellular organism also. In unicellular organism, one cell is responsible for producing everything or doing everything, and within these cells, by the process of osmosis, nutrients can enter into the cell. Okay, and also waste material can release out from the cell. So osmosis is very vital process for them. It is responsible for the absorption of water from the soil and conducting it to the upper parts of the plant through the xylem. Okay. It is responsible for the absorption of water, and as we know that plant can produce their food own by the process of photosynthesis, and for the process of photosynthesis plant required water. So plant need to absorb the water from the soil. So by which process they absorb the soil? By the process of osmosis, as osmosis is one kind of diffusion. It stabilizes the internal environment of living organism by maintaining the balance between water and intercellular fluid levels. Obviously, whenever the water concentration will high inside the cell or outside the cell, the equilibrium state can hamper. So this equilibrium, need to maintain the equilibrium state, the osmosis process is very important, and it maintains the turgidity of the cells. As we know that by the process of osmosis, water can enter into the cell and it will maintain the turgid shape or turgidity of the cell. Otherwise, the cell will squeeze actually. It is a process by which plants maintain their water content despite of constant water loss due to transpiration. You know, transpiration is a process you can say it is a process like evaporation, by which from the surface of the plant body a huge amount of water is lost into the atmosphere. But despite of this, the concentration of water into the plant body maintain as the plant is continuously absorbing the water molecules from the soil via root. The process control the cell to cell diffusion of water. Okay, মানে from one cell to another cell, if any solvent molecule or if water molecule need to transport, then also osmosis help in this process. Okay, so these are the significance of osmosis. Now coming to another process of passive transport, we already I already told you that passive transport include three modes. One is diffusion, another is osmosis, and the last one is facilitated diffusion. So we already now discussed about the diffusion and osmosis. Now we'll discuss about the facilitated diffusion. Oh, before that we can see what are the similarity and what are the dissimilarity between the osmosis and diffusion. So we will first see the similarity. Both are passive transportation. Obviously, osmosis and diffusion both are passive transportation, and for this no energy is required. Okay, and means to equalize the concentration of two solution. So if two solutions are placed then it always try to maintain the equilibrium state between two solution. Okay, so these are same for the osmosis and the diffusion, but what are the differences? Moves through semi-permeable membrane, that means for the osmosis process the presence of semi-permeable membrane is must, but for diffusion such kind of requirement is not there. Okay, does not need semi-permeable membrane to move. Okay, osmosis occur in liquid only, diffusion occur in solid, liquid, gas in all the cases. Osmosis help plants in absorbing water and maintaining stability, animals in transporting nutrient, okay, and maintaining water at a cellular level, I already discussed. And diffusion help in exchange of gas, then it also help in the process of transpiration, and obviously help in the process of photosynthesis. Okay, as carbon dioxide need to transport, carbon dioxide need to absorb, carbon dioxide need to release out. So these all process will occur with the help of diffusion in case of plant during the photosynthesis. So you can also write what are the similarity and what are the dissimilarity of osmosis and diffusion. Now let's come what is facilitated diffusion, which is another mode of passive transport. Actually, facilitated diffusion is one kind of diffusion where energy is not required, but help required. Help from what? Help from the membrane protein. There are different membrane proteins which help in this process, which help to transport the molecules from outside the environment to inside the cell. Okay, and without this particular protein, this type of diffusion cannot be completed. So whenever the diffusion occur with the help of transport protein which embedded in the plasma membrane, actually this transport protein facilitate the diffusion. That's why this process is known as facilitated diffusion. Okay, facilitated diffusion is a type of passive transport. That means in this process also energy is not required. Molecules that are polar or too big to diffuse across the plasma membrane using simple diffusion need extra help. Okay, needs extra help from the membrane protein. So here you can see two types of membrane protein. One is channel protein and one is carrier protein. Channel protein and carrier protein. And from the higher concentration region, that means from the outside the cell and whatever it is, from the higher concentration region, the molecule enter into the lower concentration region with the help of this channel protein or the carrier protein. That means in this diagram you can easily see that this carrier protein or the channel protein creating a route, creating a road for these molecules which will pass from the higher concentration region to lower concentration region. For the diffusion process, and you can see here it is the cell membrane and the proteins are embedded in this phospholipid bilayer. Okay, so these proteins are required. These proteins are specific for carrying these molecules from high concentration region to low concentration region. Without the help of this protein, this diffusion cannot be possible. That's why actually this protein need to facilitate the diffusion process. That's why it is known as facilitated diffusion. So facilitated diffusion also occur from the higher concentration region to lower concentration region. You need to remember. So facilitated diffusion is one kind of passive transport where energy is not required and molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration region. But here the specific help is needed from the channel protein or the carrier protein, which all are actually the plasma protein embedded in the plasma membrane. Now I think I am clear about the different type of passive transportation process. Do you get my point? And what is in next class we'll discuss about the active transportation and the difference between the passive transportation and active transportation. I hope you I can understand what I said, and if you have any problem, then you can comment me, you can ask me the question, I will clear your doubt. Okay, thank you.